Welcome to Up All Night DIY. I'm Monica. Thanks for joining me. Today is the Power Up Challenge, hosted by my talented friend Sarah of Ken Sarah DIY, guest hosted by Tammy of the Rusted Willow, two extraordinary ladies. This challenge is designed to encourage women to pick up their power tools and get creative. And it just so happens to be my birthday, so I figured I'd make a birthday decoration. For each family member's birthday, I decorate with some special items that I've made over the years. I've decided to make a large wooden cupcake centerpiece so that I can pull it out whenever it's someone's birthday. Let's get into it. I traced the cupcake onto some plywood, and I'll use my favorite tool, my scroll saw, to cut it out. I switch it on, and I've already adjusted my guide, which is this piece here that looks like a presser foot on a sewing machine, and I set the blade speed to the fastest setting. I feed the board into the blade, gently pushing, allowing the blade to do its thing. I maneuver the wood so that the blade stays on the line of my drawing. This is a pretty simple shape, so it's easy to manipulate the wood without much fuss. Okay, so I noticed that the board was slightly jumping, so I turned off the saw and adjust the guide, lowering it so it's closer to the wood. This will stop any unnecessary vibration and jumping. And then I just continue on cutting until my cupcake is all cut out. Right here, I'm maneuvering around the cherry and the frosting on the top of the cupcake. Once I get past those, the rest of the cupcake is pretty much a straight line, more or less, and it's very straightforward. I just want to encourage you that if you have the opportunity to use a scroll saw, give it a go, because it is far easier than most people think. After just a couple tries, trust me, you'll get the hang of it and you'll be addicted. I mean, you can design just about anything and cut it out. Have you ever looked at like a woodcut and thought, oh, if that was just a little bigger, a little rounder, a little squarer, whatever. I mean, with a scroll saw, just make your own. It's that simple. And they're also very affordable, especially compared to other power tools. Maneuvering around the frosting on the other side, and then straight down the cupcake. See? Easy. I use the sanding block to smooth any raised edges. It's a good clean cut, not much sanding is needed. Right. So we're all cut and sanded, and I dug through my scrap pile and found a piece of wood that will work perfectly for my stand as is. Didn't have to do anything to it. I'll give both the cupcake and the stand 2 coats of black acrylic paint, front, back, and sides. My wood is base coated, so I'll start the details by dry brushing the cherry with ceramic coat sun-kissed coral. I want this piece to match the other decor I've previously made, which means I want it to look like a chalkboard drawing, so I'm going to leave a black border around my colors. I'm offloading the paint from my scrubby brush there. With a circular motion, I'll dry brush the cherry. You can see that I'm leaving that black border, and I'm going to build on this application until I get the depth of color that I want. I'm using Americana Sun Bleached for my frosting. With a flat brush and just a wee bit of paint on the brush, I outline where the frosting will be. I want this to have a sketchy, chalky look, so I'm going light and loose on the strokes. Again, I'm leaving that black border. This kind of painting always reminds me of coloring in a coloring book. With a larger flat brush, I'll fill in the frosting using that same sketchy stroke. I want some of that black to peek through. I think that helps to simulate the chalkboard look. Just going to fill this spot in a wee bit. I'll add highlights with Americana Oyster Beige. I stroke just inside the border. I know it's hard to see at the moment, but it does dry a bit darker. I'm just following the shape with my strokes. And here I'm adding definition to the layers of frosting. I'll repeat that process with my shading color Ceramic Coat Sand Dune. And I'm going to stroke to the inside of my highlight. Again, just following the shape. Adding in those layers. I cut a piece of scrap Harlequin paper into the shape of a cupcake liner, and I'm going to apply it with Mod Podge. I add the Mod Podge to the wood and to the back of the paper before I apply it. I press it down with my fingers and roll it with my brayer to make sure I get good contact. I add a top coat of Mod Podge just to the paper. I want this to keep that chalkboard matte finish, and even though the Mod Podge is matte, it still has a wee shine. So I'm keeping it to the paper only, and I'll allow that to dry. I want to pull in some of the color Seafoam here, so I'll dry brush an outline around the paper ever so lightly, just to give a hint of the color. And from those downward points, I'm going to pull lines down the paper to infer pleats in the cupcake liner. And for more definition, I'll enhance those lines with Hippo Gray. I think the dry brushing on the paper adds to that chalky appearance. Now that the painting's done, I'll seal it with clear matte spray. And now before I add the embellishments, I'll attach the stand with the utility hinge. Just figuring out where I want the stand to go. I'll mark the holes of my hinge on both pieces. And I'll drill the pilot holes for my screws. You want to use a drill bit that's slightly smaller than the thickness of your screw. This will prevent your wood from splitting when you add the screws. I align the holes on the hinge with my pilot holes, and I attach the hinge to the stand first, then to the cupcake. I'm using 1/2-inch wood screws. They're short and won't poke through the front of my piece. I like to use hinges for things like this because I can fold the stand flat, and the hinge just makes it so much easier to store when it's not in use. To embellish the cupcake, I've cut 3 wavy banners in graduating sizes. 2 are from black cardstock, and the middle one is from striped paper. I've also added happy birthday to the smallest in white letters. With a cosmetic sponge, I enhanced the edges with Seafoam. I just want to pull that color in here since we pulled it in on the paper liner. And I'll do this to each banner. And I'll do this again, this time with Hippo Gray. This pulls both colors in, and the Hippo tones down anywhere that I was heavy-handed with this Seafoam. I affix them to each other using a glue stick. I use 3-in-1 glue to attach it to the front of the cupcake. I love to make paper medallions for embellishments. To make this one, I used 2 11 by 2.5-inch paper strips. I scored them at 1/2-inch intervals, and I accordion folded them. Next week I'll have a detailed video showing how I make some of the items I use on the rag, including paper medallions, crepe paper festooning, and the like. Be sure to check back in for that. Hopefully it'll be a helpful resource for you. As I said, it'll be more detailed because sometimes I have to rush through some of this stuff just for time's sake for the video, and this will be a place you can go and find all that information. With hot glue, I'll attach the ends to form a loop. I push the loop down to form the medallion. I add a drop of hot glue to the center and a line across the back to attach a craft stick. Ruh-roh. It's okay, we got it. We got it. I'll glue a craft stick across the back, covering the opening, and it'll give this extra support. I glue a black cardstock circle over the center to hide the opening. I've printed and cut more circles to decorate the middle. This says a standard happy birthday, but I also made one that says 21 because my son will turn 21 this year. To make this interchangeable, I'll pop on a Velcro tab, one to each piece. Actually, I stick them together first. This makes lining them up easier. I stick it to the back of the sentiment, then to the medallion. See? It pops right off for a quick change. Pretty cool, right? I also use Velcro to attach the medallion to the cupcake. This way, if the medallion gets ratty or damaged, I can make a new one or add something different if the mood takes me. And there we have it, a fun, easy, quick birthday decoration that you can use for every family member or friend. I have to tell you, even though my kids are grown, I'm compelled to decorate for their birthdays, and this makes it that much easier and special. I hope you liked today's project, and maybe you'll consider making this part of your family birthday tradition, or something like it. I myself am very grateful for another trip around the sun. I want to thank Sarah and Tammy for hosting. I've linked their channels as well as the playlist in the description box below. Be sure to treat yourself to all of the tips and inspiration each creator has for you. This collaboration is always full of talent. Show them some love. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and all that good stuff. Stay creative, my friends. Thanks for hanging with me. See you next time. Up all night with Monica.